Hello, everyone. We are back with another Freewheeling Friday, and we are just waiting for uh, Karthik and Bhargavi. Hello, everyone, and we are back with another session of FreeWheeling Friday. We have with us Karthik. Hi, Karthik. Karthik, we can't hear you. Is there? Can you hear me? I think there's some issue. Uh, Maybe Karthik, you can just check the mic once because yes. So we can go ahead and shortly Bhargavi would be
How
joining us.
about you? Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect, Karthik.
All right, perfect.
So yes, we are excited for another session for Freewheeling Fridays. Uh, Bhargavi, we are just waiting for Bhargavi. Until then, we can just start off with our introduction and what are the things that we'll be covering up in this session. So we have been hearing a lot about Figma's acquisition and by Adobe, and how are things turning up into the startup ecosystem, and then the grocery store, the grocery market, which has been trying to enter into the late night delivery part. So that is another step up game with respect to the grocery business. So these are the brief topics that we would like to cover up today, and maybe some other topics coming up from the founders or other folks. So Karthik, how's it going? What's your and what would you like to tell our audience as an introduction? Please go ahead.
I don't know, Sarthak, I am ready to freewheel with you. So let's see, if we have audience throwing up any questions, we can discuss about those as well.
Yep.
But tell me, man, how is the rain situation? Has it receded? Where you're living? Is it back to normal now?
Yes. With respect to rain, right? So I think it has been subsided. Being very honest, it is just few days that it comes and goes. It's just like it's just like a season that it comes, right? Just how we have in BC, like there's a particular sector which rises, and then so it's just like that rains right now. Oh, here we have Bhargavi. Hi, Bhargavi.
Hi.
So me and Karthik are just discussing about the rains and how's it going in Bangalore.
All right.
Yep.
So while
Yes.
Bhargavi is figuring out,
Okay,
uh,
figured out
figured
finally.
out, yes. Can you hear
Perfect.
us now?
Yes. So yeah, I mean that's all. Sometimes it just pours down like like cats and dogs, but some like mostly it's just fine. Currently in Bangalore, I think the infrastructure is well, right, is a bit of a problem. So the problem really maxes like zooms into the core. So I think it eventually it will subside. So yeah, looking forward like how would it turn out?
All right, sounds good, man. So the first topic that we're discussing today is obviously the acquisition of Figma by Adobe.
Yes.
Uh, so, Sarthak, let me just ask you this, right? Turn the tables on you. What was the last? What was the valuation it's getting bought for?
So it is so interestingly. So this Figma had last year the value was valued at $10 billion, and a year later it is acquired at $20 billion valuation. So with respect to acquisition, like the price has been doubled. Like the value has been doubled for the company, and yeah, it is a great inspiration I think for startup founders as well, for an exit if they are looking that this is one of the best modes of exit if you have to see, right. I would like to know from you and Bhargavi. I would like to direct this question like how do you see this event, and going forward how would it turn out for the entire startup ecosystem?
The first thing that comes to my mind about this Bhargavi is the valuation multiple for this company, right? I think they are, what is the rare somewhere like 400 million or something? Is that right?
Somewhere close. Yes.
Somewhere close. Okay. So what does that mean? Like, what is the multiple, Sarthak?
Sorry.
What is the multiple? What is the multiple for this?
Easily
So it's
somewhere
50x.
50. Yeah, 50x.
That's a significant premium, right? I mean, for an acquisition of a SaaS company, the 50x multiple, I think are good days back in SaaS world. Is that an indication of that?
Uh, most probably by looking at the situation.
Bhargavi, what do you think?
Yes, Bhargavi, please.
8 to 10x.
50x, right? $0.4
Wow.
billion ARR, 20 billion valuation, right?
Interesting. I'm just trying to think about another SaaS company I know of which did a pretty decent exit. They
Like
were
Indian SaaS
doing
company,
close to, sorry,
Indian SaaS company.
Indian SaaS company. They were doing close to 4 million ARR and they got, I think, 3.5 million. They got 100 million.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
that's
So yeah, I think this
Yeah.
this beats that, right? I think well, maybe that's the
This beats
premium
it.
that
Yes, that is like 28x or something. This beats it. Yeah.
correct, correct. So this is like 50x, and Adobe has clearly paid a significant premium to acquire this brand. I think, look, the bottom line is, they're going to add hundreds of thousands of new users to their portfolio, right? I think that's there. But we'll have to see, all these acquisitions are always tricky, right? When you acquire them, the integration between the two companies uh, is not easy. You've seen in the past also, like companies getting acquired, not being able to adjust to the culture shift, and so on and so forth. So we'll see what the long term impact of this is going to be. But it looks like it's a very good acquisition for the founders and the investors of Figma,
Yeah.
and a good indication for SaaS companies. They've been rather slow this last year and a half or so. With the multiples going down, maybe this will revive and get the um, multiples going in here, right? So that could
See, but
be
also I think two other things in this deal, right? One is the product of Figma. I think it had a direct fit with Adobe, and
yes.
I think the other more important thing is the cash which Adobe had. Um, because Adobe shares in the public market also went up so much in the last 2 years. If you look at the charts, right? And I don't think the shares are also corrected so much in the correction.
mm,
So I think it's also a factor of one, the fitment. Second is the cash of the company that's acquiring also. So the Adobe was in a really good position.
So looking
yeah.
forward, do you see this coming, like with respect to the global ecosystem, right? This is of course happening in the US. So do you see like something like this happening in India in the near future, where such multiples have like acquisition at such multiples are carried out?
In Indian company buying at this multiple.
Yes.
But I think even in India it's not something which has not happened. There have
Mhm.
been, but in India one thing what we have to see is how many such companies are there which has the potential to go
To
acquire a
acquire,
company at this valuation, right? I
or even
think,
at this multiple.
yeah, and many of the Indian companies, though they start here, then eventually when they have to go to a level of acquiring a company like this, they would have become global at that point in time. So so I think in India that is why, right? So it's just that how many companies do you have who can pay so much and buy?
Mhm.
Would you call a Mindtree as a Indian company now? I don't know.
True. So yeah, look at, like we like look forward to something happening like that, because that will really inspire entrepreneurs over here to, like, as a great exit in a way. coming forward in the near future?
No, Sarthak, see, acquisitions are happening even of Indian companies, right? But it's a buying company in India. Why is it required, right? It's not a. It's fine if your product is good and if a global company is coming and buying you out, it's fine.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say acquisitions have not happened in India. There have
Hmm.
been acquisitions in
Of
India that
course,
have happened, right?
of course, yeah.
What
So
is one high-profile acquisition this year?
This year, I don't remember.
Uh, okay, I'm just trying to think if
2022,
there are any. Uh,
yeah, did you have any high profile acquisition?
really can't.
Anything happened in EdTech earlier this year?
hmm, interesting. I think the fact that we're struggling to come up with an answer itself is an answer. the I think the only last high-profile acquisition that I can think of is Air India's acquisition by Tata. That was like last year.
I think, except that, there have been small acquisition in the edtech space, like some below $1 billion, and nothing major, I would say, because there
All
have been,
right.
yeah, there have been companies like Byju's and Academy going on a acquisition spree, right? But the valuation has been pretty remote, like dominantly lower than what we see in the space that we can recall of. Yeah, the next is like that. So recently, right, since a week, like since our last freewheeling Friday, I read more about the grocery business entering into the late night delivery. Dunzo, Zepto, everyone, one after the another, came up with a news that okay, we are all like delivering till like 3 a.m. And from my point of view, like how they think about the businesses, especially targeting the millennials and the whole ecosystem, right? About the into the D2C space where they are delivering, right? They are majorly targeting the millennial ecosystem space. So how do you see this going forward with not just respect to the delivery, but as a business? How do we see? How do like what's your opinion with respect to the business model in general?
Bhargavi, are you taking that or you want me to take that one? Okay, I think she's gone. So look, Sardak,
I think Bhargavi is back. Yeah.
Back.
right, right.
Oh, okay, so late night
So I'm just
delivery,
thinking,
interestingly,
I'm not so sure.
we
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
spoke.
Bhargavi, go ahead. Yeah,
Continue,
Bhargavi.
continue, continue, continue.
No, just thought, Bhargavi, and I was just thinking, is there like another fad, right? I mean, how many people are going to be like staying up at 3 o'clock at night and then ordering, right? Is there going to be enough volume? Okay, fine, one or two millennials or not even millennials, man, Gen Z, man. Millennials are already in their 30s. Maybe the Gen Z folks are, staying up and partying, and then all of a sudden they need some club soda for their drinks or something like that. I don't know, you know, or maybe they just got a
Karthik
some
is talking
hangover
about
from last
himself,
night.
looks like.
I think he's talking about me and our whole generation.
Yeah, or you just want to like get up and eat some Maggie and then find out that there is no Maggie at home and then you order it, right?
Facts.
But what is the volume of that? Is that going to be like a real game changer, or is it just one more attempt at a bunch of these guys, trying to differentiate themselves from each other? I don't know. It's like I was forget about grocery deliveries, man. I was shocked the other day. I was trying to send some documents, and somebody sent me the pickup service from Porter you know. So Port is also doing these peer-to-peer deliveries and pickups for documents, etc. So Dunzo is doing it, Swiggy is doing it, everybody is doing it. So this whole logistics, grocery delivery is getting like super crowded. I think all these companies, which are very well funded, are all trying to do something somewhere, and hoping that it's gonna stick. This looks like another attempt at that, Sardak.
Yeah. Bhargavi, any different take on the same like question?
Not on night delivery because I think Karthik covered almost everything. But I recently read interview of a quick delivery founder,
Okay.
and I think most of the interview was on how the promise is maintained. Whatever it is, right? My still is one scale and second is profitability. So we don't know. Even if
Hmm.
probably somebody achieves scale, I think behavior change is something which probably they are achieving because they have to. I mean, it's eventually it gets onto you, but where is this behavior change happening? Maybe in top three cities of India the behavior change is happening.
Hmm.
Then is that good enough scale, and can you do it profitably? Maybe this is going to survive long enough, right? So for example, uh,
Hmm.
today I see my son and his friends. For them it's like Zipto is there, is first port of call for anything. I need a chip now, take Zipto and order. So when they grow up and start earning, so this is like a Kellogg story, right? I don't know if you guys have heard about Kellogg's. When they came to India, they know they are going to take that 15 years when this behavior change comes, and the kids they are targeting grows up. So maybe something that would become that point in time, I don't know. But so my question is still profitability, right? Even if you hit scale, but can you still do it profitably?
Hmm.
Yeah, bang on, Bhargavi. What is the unit economics of those deliveries, right? I mean, you're delivering like a 100 rupee product, uh, and then you're spending like 100 rupees to deliver it. It's like, come on, man, how are you going to make money, right? Uh, I don't know, man. I think people are still struggling and debating, do we really need 10-minute delivery, right? And now, we're saying, do we need 10-minute delivery at 3 o'clock at night?
Hmm.
So we'll see, as long as. But by the way, Dunzo has already moved from the 15-minute or 20-minute or 10-minute delivery, right?
Yeah,
They're not doing that anymore.
yeah, they are not.
I think it's only a sign of things to come. Once you start, um, your burn increases, your runway reduces, and then you realize, okay, let's just cut all of this nonsense in order to retain the user. Let's not do all of this. Some only argument that I could think of at some point to justify this is the data argument, but that is also like very very uh, it's on a very loose wicket, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, I desperately need data for people buying it like Gen Z data.
Even for that you
I don't
need
know
scale, no? The scale at which
exactly.
Zomato operates today,
Correct.
then now the data makes sense, right? So these guys have to hit that scale.
Yeah.
But I really think that the late night delivery is like will play up in the long term, because personally feel like experiencing that, like at one you're working and you need coffee, maybe you just can't find any other option, right? Maybe can just open the Zepto app, because half of the times, like as a bachelor, I've realized that things are not at home. So that again, the Gen Z component coming into the play, where they are majorly focusing onto that, I think that can be a major play for them. So yeah, it's the future that will tell us, but for sure. So our next question is with respect to so few of my friends.
Hold on, Sarthak. I actually have a question for Bhargavi. You
Yeah,
know that Bhargavi is an tech expert. Hey, why don't you just put the names of the topics that we're discussing, Sarthak, so people know what we are talking
sure,
about, right? And if they have any questions, maybe they can ask.
sure.
Um, and Bhargavi, another question that I was trying to, while you do that, right? Let me just put focus on myself. Uh, uh, I think, Bhargavi, we briefly discussed about this on our WhatsApp group, but not didn't do a deep dive on it. Obviously, it's the financials for Baiju, uh,
Yeah,
right? I mean, What
Everybody
was
is
that?
rolling Baiju's head today. How can we not do it? It's
Yeah,
just not fair.
exactly. What's going on there, Bhagya? And
So
just
the
to put some numbers out there, right? I think they have reported a loss of about 4,500 crores.
yes, and the revenue
Correct?
stands around 2,400 crores.
On a
So that's a
revenue of
20x jump.
2,200 crores, I think, right?
Yes, yes, something about that, plus a 20%.
It's Bhagya, it's a 20x jump from FY20,
Yes, the
right?
loss is 20x jump and the sales is flat.
Yeah, yeah,
And even if I
exactly.
add back whatever Deloitte removed from sales, still sales is just it's just 100% jump, I think, in sales.
Mm,
I think Deloitte removed like 1,500 crores or get what 3,000 from their previous year of 2,000 crores sales. Still the loss jump is significantly higher. So I was wondering what were they doing, right? How can you spend so much money per day in a year? So and they put it on White Hat Junior because I think White Hat Junior lost 1,700 crores on
yeah.
sales of uh, how much did they, it is 10 million month. It dropped by 50% or something, so it was some degrowth in sales and loss jumped to 1,700 crores or something like that. But
Mm,
still something is not adding up, right? I don't put it squarely on White Hat Junior, something is totally not adding up still.
yeah.
um, so yeah, it's like shocking. So maybe have to go deeper and understand to whom did they pay so much salaries, if you see. So yeah, these are really shocking numbers in terms of the burn. It's phenomenal that you are able to burn close to uh, three-fourth of $1 billion in a year.
So there's this interesting statement by the founder where he was giving an interview, and the interviewer asked, "Oh, that the 300 million commitment that was going to come, the VC fund has backed out." So the founder goes saying that, "Oh, we I can raise $300 million in a week." So that was something very interesting that came out, and people started talking about it just before, like after the report came out, like with respect to their financials and everything, and the VC fund not putting in 300 million. So that is something very interesting that is going on into Byju's. So let's see what holds in the future. Most probably, it will be a scenario to watch out for.
Yeah, but I think one thing, booking phantom revenues, technically, I think it's a pattern. It's not just with Byju's, because that's something which we are seeing in other edtech companies or hearing in other edtech companies also. There is really pressure for performance, I think, and there are a lot of these ghost revenues which are getting booked.
Hmm. Absolutely. So yes, that's all about what our take was on what is going on with the financials and everything about Byju's. As I said, let's see what holds in the future. And yeah, going forward, uh, there's also so few of my friends, they like coming from the tech background, they really don't have been taught with respect to management and everything, and they had this particular question with respect to how should one build a core team, like the first 10 people in a startup, right? And they so majorly most of the founders that I meet, they have this question, and they are very confused with respect to this. Would you like to elaborate more, like what would can be the best way, because you have been into the system for quite some time and you have seen founders building startups from the scratch, as we are a pre-seed and a seed fund, right? So would you like to add some notes on how should founders go about it?
Sarthak, I didn't quite understand the question. What was that again?
So basically, with respect to founders, right, this is the most important question that they have most of the times, even in my circle, that what is the basic structure, like what is the basic way out to build a core team or the first 5 to 10 people, like, who can give most of the things for a startup at a pre-seed or a seed level, right? So they want to know, like, as because we are a pre-seed and a seed stage fund. So we have seen, like, like you guys have seen a lot of companies and founders build this team way up, like from pre-seed, from two founders to a team of maybe 1,000, right? So what is the crux of building a team first 50 employees? That this is the basic question that most of the founders have. So would you like to address that? Like, I would like to direct it to Karthik.
Hey, look, Sarthak, I don't think there is one answer that fits this, right? Look, I think when you're forming teams, what we have seen anecdotally, or if you look at some of the most successful startups, right, are those which are founded by founders who know each other for quite some time, right? Whether they've worked together or have gone to school together, who have known their working styles. So when you have a team which understands the strengths of each other and have actually seen, hopefully, some ups and downs in their previous avatar, that actually helps, right? Because they know the working styles and they understand what they stand for and so on and so forth. So the likelihood of teams succeeding like that is slightly higher because um, there is that level of comfort with each other, where you can actually focus on building the company rather than trying to accommodate each other.
Okay. So, like most of the founders that I hear, right, like the Uber founder, that he goes like, when you're hiring your first 10 employees, just get the most crazy guys that you can ever have in your circle, and get them to join your startup, because you need such people. You don't need maybe like a very high degree with, like, from Stanford or someone like that. Maybe you just need some few people who are ready to give what it takes. So like that was a take of, and this has been majorly with all the successful founders, right? That they want such team members that can really give in what it takes. So for me, that had been like most of the take that I had from the conversations with all these successful founders.
How will you figure out whether a person has what it takes?
So being very honest, what how they describe it is being like, the fire that they have for, like, and with respect to also the idea that the team believes in or not with respect to the startup, and also in the founder. Uh, I mean, that is majorly what it is, and there are other things as well with respect to how can you analyze your team members, the first 10, 20, 30, because that's how the foundation lays for the future company, right? And I mean, being very honest, that's how it is. Like that fire that you can see in someone who can, like, go out there. If something has to be fixed, that person can do that at any cost. So I think such team members at the initial stage really build great startups, and like, provide the foundation to be a great company.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. That's interesting, Sarthak. What is up next? Do we have anything else?
Yes. So I would like to put you in spot right now, and I would like to ask that, which is your favorite founder from the Java Capitals portfolio, and why do you like that founder so much? Like something about the quality or the way they are building it. So this is a tricky question I would like to ask, but as it is Freewheeling Friday, please go ahead.
I think he's asking you, Bhargavi.
Sorry, I didn't get voice broke off. My network is so bad. Can you tell me
Who is your
what did you
favorite
ask?
founder from a portfolio?
Oh, who's my favorite founder from the portfolio? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think, in fact, somebody else asked another VC also this question, right? So this is like, if you are a parent, you can't, very difficult to say a favorite child. And even if you
See,
have your own favorite child, it is your responsibility to ensure it doesn't come out, right? Because everybody has to be equal. So I think that is the stance I would take even in this. So maybe there are some founders, I mean, we like certain traits of certain founders, and of course many founders have things that they have to work on also, which is true even with us, right? So yeah, I think, wholesome, if you ask me, I'm not going to answer that question.
see, this is the
I have
way of answering the question, Bhargavi. See, like my mom has been very clear that my eldest sister has been a favorite kid since like forever. Okay, so there's nothing like mom, like parents don't have favorite kids. So I would really like to know, like from Karthik, as like at least for Karthik.
Karthik seems to have a different take. Yeah.
I do have a different take. Okay, uh, look, whichever founder gives me the most trouble, right? He or she is the most memorable founder for me.
Okay.
Okay, so you know who I'm talking about. You know, if you're watching this, dude, you know who you
I
are.
don't know.
So, yeah, man, I think, look, this is the problem, right? Unlike your kids, right? There's a difference, Bhargavi, you know, with your kids, right? You don't get to try them first. You cannot try your kids, you know. With founders, you can actually do that. So if you break it, right, you own it. That relationship. No, I think you know when we get into this investing in these companies, right? At our stage, especially, it's definitely investing in the founders. Yeah, we think that you know all the founders that we're investing in are terrific, um, and that's why you know we invest in them. So it's a tough question to answer, right? Maybe you know 2 years down the line, you ask me this question, I'll tell you whoever has given me the 20x return or my fund return, then that is a favorite founder, right? Uh, that's a more objective answer, let's just say.
Perfect. So that's again, that's a very parental answer that whichever kid does the best in life, that kid would be the favorite kid.
That's very subjective. That's what I'm telling. It's very subjective, right? What Karthik said is a completely objective answer. You put a number. What is success in life? Oh,
Yeah. So, with respect to, again, as we are on this topic, right, with respect to founders and how they go about their journey over a period of time. So, I would also point this out, like, how do you see, as a startup or a founder, right? Everyone evolves over a period of time. So, how do you see pivoting, and how crucial is it, and how do you is it like how upside can it provide to a founder or a company? That would be like the crux of the question that I would like to take from this end to like from this question to that question.
okay, so I think I'll first share what I think. Pivoting is again, is a natural process, right? It should happen naturally. Or I also know founders who said, "Hey, this is not working. Let me look at broader trends, and let me look at white spaces and probably five industries, and see which is the one which is closest to my passion and my skill set, and let me start working on that." So that's another way of pivoting, right? If it doesn't happen naturally, you figure something out. But so again, there is no right or wrong whether somebody has to pivot. There are founders who might decide, hey, this is not working, let me move on, take a break from startup, and revisit it sometime later, maybe, right? So I think it's journey in itself, and it's subjective, depends on a lot of factors. So there is a larger philosophical angle to this, right? Why does somebody pivot? um, it, it there is no guarantee that a pivot succeeds
Hmm.
also, right? So I think the larger philosophical thing a founder always has to remember, or most of the founders do that, is completely reassess that whether the path that they have taken is working out or not, and also moving on from that, right? So it's also in VC also we tell, deciding when are you going to exit a company is a very important decision. The same applies to founders, and I think the same applies to many of us in our normal life also, right? When you decide to exit something, move on from something, let go of something. So I think that is the larger philosophical angle in this.
Okay. Karthik, what's your take on the same question? Like, how do you see pivoting as in a startup journey, and like what's the upside or downside to it?
Broadly agree with what Marguerite has said. Only thing that I would add is I don't think founders should get into a company, start a company, thinking that, oh, okay, we can pivot later, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think founders should actually think very deeply at the get-go. Is it really a problem that they really want to solve, and spend the next 3 4 years of their time on it? Do they really understand this market? Do they really think that it's a problem worth solving,
Hmm.
right? Um, so it's not easy all the time, but sometimes you realize 2 years down the line that this is not working because the market is giving us a different feedback from the hypothesis that we started, right? And it's okay to pivot then, right?
Yeah.
But even then, right, the pivots, those are not, uh, if you become a fintech company from a tech company, right? That's not a pivot, you
Yeah.
know, that's a new avatar. You identify another adjacent problem statement that is large enough, and you want to solve that, fine, that is a pivot. I think that is something that you should really think about, right? Because you still have that knowledge and the expertise from that particular sector or the market.
Hmm.
So, I think don't pivot just for the sake of pivoting. If you must pivot, think twice. A founder who has pivoted and is looking to raise funds, it's going to be doubly difficult to justify
Hmm.
and raise funds,
Hmm.
because there are questions. Automatically, people will have questions about the founder's ability to execute. Is it because he was not able to, or she was not able to execute? Is that why he's trying to pivot?
Hmm.
Or what are those hypotheses? Did he come to make those hypotheses earlier on without doing much of a research? And what are the chances that he doesn't repeat that in the second time around, and so on and so forth, right? So a blank page is a better way to raise funds than with a background of pivoting, right? So yeah, you think carefully about pivoting, and when you're pivoting, be responsible. Think about your investors, your employees, who are there in the company, and take them into consideration, when you make that decision.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that sums up most of the questions with respect to pivoting. I think, like, from investors' point of view, or maybe, like, the team point of view. So I think that is like a really get good for a founder or any team looking for it. Um,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So if nothing else, I am so glad that we've been able to do this for 3 weeks in a row.
yes,
We are
Oh, really? It's been
on a
3 weeks in
streak.
a row? Wow.
Yes, 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 yeah, 3 weeks in a row. But before we wrap up, right, just a health warning to all of you guys. Today we did not have Vinod,
yes,
only because he's busy networking with investors from Chennai. Hopefully he should be back next week, and then we'll have some of his uh, average insights into some of our questions, right?
I will definitely like make this clip watch. Like, I'll make this Vinod watch what the average thing that you have talked about, and I'll read.
Yeah, yeah, and we're also eagerly waiting for all the clips from the last week, Sarthak. So
Exactly. Let's first see that clip, okay? I don't think Vinod will be surprised by this clip.
yeah, hey Vinam. Just left a message 3 weeks in a row. Damn.
Oh, damn. Yes, and many more weeks to come at Streak. So look, wait and watch for that. And next week, so this I would like to give a sneak peek into next week's Freewheeling Friday. That we'll have some amazing founder coming onto the panel and sharing their insights on building a brand. And you guys should be like, stay tuned for it. I'll not reveal who's it, but you are definitely gonna love their insights and what they'll be providing, like with respect to how to build a brand. So yes, looking
That's
forward
super
for
nice.
it. Ending note, anything, guys?
No, just thanks to you, Sarthak. You're doing a good job. You know,
Thank you.
thanks for setting this up, and uh, and like putting some pressure on Bhargavi for the next 1 week. Right.
Yes.
All
So I
right.
want to make sure that it happens. So I'm like pretty sure now it would, because we have made a
Now that you announced, there is no backing out.
yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure. Bhargavi, I hope we don't disappoint our viewers.
Hey, after all, it's freewheeling, man. Anything can happen, so it's okay.
There's a disclaimer, guys, right away for you. But no, I don't think so. It will. But yeah, stay tuned for next Freewheeling Fridays. We'll be there with some amazing insights and amazing founders to discuss and provide you with amazing, a talk show with some great insights with the founder. So yeah,
All right. Good
thank
night,
you so
folks.
much
Have a
for
great
joining.
weekend.
Bye.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.